So I'll go ahead and talk about the agenda, getting started here. So this, of course, is GMAT training. We'll be here all day basically going through what is GMAT, why should you care about it, how can you use it to solve your mission. The first part of it will just be what is the GMAT project about, where it comes from, where are we going in the future. Then later this morning we'll talk about introduction to how the software works at a user level, and then for later morning and then most of the afternoon we'll actually sit down and do interactive tutorials that show you how to use GMAT for different things. Just checking, can you guys on the phone hear me when I'm talking here? Is the audio okay?
So far so good.
Okay, great, thank you. So as I mentioned, the course objectives here are pretty simple. So we're going to learn about the GMAT project itself, software capabilities, how to use GMAT both in the graphical and the scripting capability, because GMAT has both. We'll go into both of those. Show some example missions, and then later in the afternoon, after lunch, we'll actually go through tutorials on propagating an orbit, designing a simple transfer, and then advanced things like targeting Mars B-plane, performing finite maneuvers, and then performing multiple shooting optimization at the end of the day. So the basic agenda is I'm going to spend just 15 minutes going over what I'm going over right now, and then we'll do 15 minutes or so of project overview, and then we'll actually go into a if you're familiar with programming tutorials and things, they usually have a hello world example where you actually start up the software and do something really simple to get a flavor for it. And then after a break, we'll go into sort of a deep dive introduction to how GMAT works, another tutorial, and then after lunch, we'll have the more advanced stuff. Now, folks on the phone, the bundle that you guys have is a public release of GMAT. I'll talk about the differences between that in a minute, but we just released GMAT 2014A. The folks in the room have the NASA internal build on their machines. The remote folks, I was able to post on Google the public release. The only difference between that and the internal one is it doesn't have a certain optimizer that we are unable to distribute for copyright reasons. So the only thing you're not going to be able to do is, in the last tutorial, you'll be able to listen and follow along, but you won't actually be able to run it on your copy of GMAT. So just something to keep in mind. I think it'll still be valuable for the remote folks. You just won't be able to see the final solution. All right, so I think everybody here is probably knowledgeable about the room, but this, of course, is building 1. The bathrooms are out the door here. Upstairs is food and coffee, and in the back is coffee and donuts. On your computer is everything I'm going to cover today. There's a copy of GMAT on there. There's PDFs of all the slides. We have stacks of tutorials we're going to hand out, but all the tutorials are on your computer there in the GMAT Fundamentals folder. So I know it can be hard to see the screen sometimes, but everything we're going to cover is on your computer to look at up close. So running GMAT, let's see, let me just show you here. So on your desktop, there's these 3 folders. So GMAT and the shortcut that's an actual copy of GMAT 2014A. So to run it, just click on the shortcut. And then GMAT Fundamentals here, this folder has all the PDFs and things of all the training stuff.
This computer doesn't have folders.
Uh-oh. Can't take the class month there.
All right.
There's one in the back. If you want to switch.
One in the back?
Or next to Mike.
Yeah,
Michael. Yeah. And finally, just for some context, so this is GMAT Fundamentals class. The goal of this is just to get your feet wet and so the goal is you leave the class and you have an understanding of, oh, this is what GMAT is for, this is what it is, this is how I can use it to solve some basic problem I have. It's not going to teach you every little part of GMAT or advanced methods or anything like that. So that's the goal of it. It's an annual series. We do this every year in June, about when the interns come. It's handy that way. It's open to the public, so for the folks in the room, you guys are mostly NASA contractors. On the phone, we have people from all over the world, from different companies, universities, other NASA centers. And I'll say that the classes we do here are recorded. So I have screen capturing software on my computer that's recording everything I do. And then it's capturing the microphone here on the computer. So what we're going to do is, after the class is done, we're going to clean it up a little bit and then post the full lecture online so you guys can go back and see it. But be aware, if you ask questions, your question and answer are going to be on the video. So just so you know, if something comes up, obviously we can edit, but that's the goal. When we're done, it might take a couple weeks of time just to get everything straightened out, but we're going to put the slides on our public website. GMAT Central is our public website, and we're going to post the videos in some form to our YouTube channel. So given a couple weeks time, you'll be able to see everything there. Any questions just about today, what we're doing? Okay.
I have one question about the platforms.
Yeah, okay, let's mention that. Yep.
Okay.
So obviously everybody here in the live training is using Windows 7 because that's what's on the computers. GMAT is primarily a Windows-based tool. It's written to be cross-platform in such a way that you could compile it on Mac and Linux if you really wanted to, but we don't test it that way. There's known issues with doing that. We just don't have the time to fix little things that come up on the other platforms. So what we're doing here is we're going through on Windows where we know it's tested and stable, to go through the training and see what it can do. And then if other platform support is necessary, then we can do it after the class. So I don't know if remote folks saw the email, but hang on, my screen went dead here. Okay. Yeah, I suggested that folks on the phone, you have the bundle of GMAT distributed for Windows, and I suggested that you guys run it on Windows because that's going to be the most stable platform, and it's the platform you'll see on the screen here. All right.